This is KGW News at Sunrise.
Coming up in one of this morning's top local stories, we have new details to share about what court documents describe as a hostage situation and sexual assault in Clark County that ended with sheriff's deputies shooting and killing the suspect.
And huge news this morning for Intel. It is getting billions of dollars to supercharge semiconductor production. Coming up, we've got a live report on the historic investment in just a few minutes.
Also, you may have heard Rod say last half hour, spring has sprung.
Did I say that?
I believe you said something like that. I'm paraphrasing. You didn't say this, but I'll say it for you. Gas prices are rising. Yep, spring break in Oregon is next week, and that means paying more at the pump. We'll have the latest on that in just a minute.
Yeah, we're also talking allergies, but gosh, the first full day of spring.
Oh, it's so exciting.
All good news,
All
by
good
the way.
news.
All
Sorry.
good news.
Picture it. Clouds. Morning drizzle. A few afternoon scattered showers.
Yes.
Temperatures that refuse to get up to 60.
Okay.
Washes out the pollen.
He's like a painter, painting a picture.
Well, tell you what, 5 in a row ended yesterday, 70-degree temperatures with a high of 71 out at the airport. Now we're watching a system offshore. We have a thick marine deck that's coming this morning. I'm showing you the radar with nothing on it to make the point that if you check the radar at home this morning on your phone, it may not show anything. But the reality is we have a low cloud deck reporting pretty constant light moisture in the form of drizzle over downtown Portland. So it's actually quite wet in spots, and your windshield wipers will have to come on. You can see the clouds are low over the downtown cityscape. Moisture being reported out at the airport, 48 is the number there. Clouds look like they'll be solid throughout the day. The scattered showers that will be coming in won't happen until later today. I have the temperature at 5 p.m. at 58 degrees. Here's Chris McGinnis.
Okay, Rod, to Clark County we go. Lisa Road overpass work continues, and you can see the crews out there right now, but the freeway down below, SR 14, both directions, is open. Switching gears, taking you to Tualatin. Not many cars on the road early on this Wednesday morning drive. This is I-5 at the 205 interchange. For some perspective, that's semi right there. That's the ramp from 205 south onto I-5 south. That looks pretty good. In a quick check of the Sylvan Hill, a little misty, a little drizzly out there, but so far, guys, the freeways are in good shape this morning.
Yeah, looking good. Thank you, Chris. We start this morning with breaking news. Today, President Joe Biden is set to announce over $8 billion in funding for Intel to ramp up semiconductor production. The president will make the announcement later this morning in Arizona. Devin Haskins is live now in Hillsboro outside of Intel this morning with details. Hey there, Devin.
Hey, good morning. So a portion of that funding being announced today will be spent right here in Oregon. Money going towards expanding and modernizing Intel's innovation hub here in Hillsboro. The money coming from the CHIPS Act, a $280 billion act signed in 2022 that's meant to ramp up semiconductor manufacturing. In an agreement with the Department of Commerce, Intel says it expects its investments in the U.S. to exceed $100 billion over the next 5 years. Intel says it'll expand its facilities in Oregon, Arizona, New Mexico, and Ohio. That'll create tens of thousands of new jobs. Government says along with the CHIPS Act funding, coupled with what Intel says it'll invest, it marks one of the largest investments ever announced in U.S. semiconductor manufacturing. The agreement also includes requirements for Intel to provide affordable, accessible childcare for its workers across its facilities. Intel's total funding amount through the CHIPS Act will depend on if Intel meets certain milestones. Those milestones have not been announced yet. So President Biden, again, making that announcement later today outside of an Intel factory in Chandler, Arizona. For now, back to you.
Okay, thank you so much for that report, Devin. And Pat Doris has been covering the local impacts of the CHIPS Act on KGW's The Story for months now. He'll dive in with more details tonight at 6:30.
We have new information to share this morning surrounding the deadly shooting last month by Clark County Sheriff's deputies on a rural property in Brush Prairie. Court documents detail why deputies were called out there in the first place and what led up to that shooting.
Meantime, the 5 Clark County deputies involved remain on leave. A warning, the details may be hard for some people to hear. KGW's Catherine Cook has the story.
New court documents reveal disturbing details about what police say happened in this Brush Prairie RV and the man who lived and died here. It was February 20th. Around 1 a.m., Clark County Sheriff's deputies were called to the RV on a welfare check. Loved ones were concerned about the victim, who'd come here earlier in the day to visit an extended family member. Body cam video shows the moment deputies arrived. They confronted the suspect, 53-year-old Jonathan Scott Gale, and the victim outside.
Is everything okay? What happened?
One deputy talks with the victim, whose voice and image are concealed.
Did a crime occur?
The court documents reveal a long list of alleged crimes. Vancouver police, which is investigating the case, say Gale armed himself with a gun, bound the victim with electrical tape, then raped her for several hours. The victim told detectives during the assault she noticed a video camera set up near the bed and several cell phones lying around. Investigators say they also found guns, drug paraphernalia, and what appears to be pipe bombs inside Gale's RV.
Hey, he needs to be detained.
Body cam video shows when the welfare check takes a turn. Deputies start to pat Gale down.
Yeah, weapons on you, yeah? I'm gonna pat you down real quick.
No, don't touch me. I'm sick. I have COVID-19.
Investigators say Gale appears to pull a gun from his jacket. Seconds later, 3 Clark County Sheriff's deputies fire their guns.
Drop the gun!
One at a time.
Hey, drop the gun! If you reach for it, force is gonna be used against you.
Shortly after that, medics pronounced Gale dead at the scene.
Catherine Cook, KGW News.
It's also important to remember that if you or someone you know has experienced sexual assault or needs support, there are resources available, including the number for the National Sexual Assault Hotline, which you can find in the online version of this story at KGW.com. Also this morning, police arrested a man for a homicide that happened last November in the Park Rose Heights neighborhood of Northeast Portland. 40-year-old Nicole Davis was found shot to death the day before Thanksgiving inside an apartment at Northeast 111th and Wilder. Yesterday, police arrested 30-year-old David Sims Jr., who faces multiple charges, including second-degree murder.
And Washington County Sheriff's deputies arrested an Aloha High School student for posting several pictures of themselves on social media with wads of cash, drugs, and guns. Deputies say they found all of this on your screen in the teen's car, from suspected cocaine and marijuana to several weapons. Investigators say they think the student, who is a minor, was selling drugs.
All right, we have some good news and bad news for this last story before Rod's weather forecast. We're talking gas prices. So spring break is next week in Oregon. A lot of people excited about that.
That's the good news.
That's the good news, Rod. With spring break comes a bump in gas prices, a bump up. You ever bump down? It always seems to be a bump up.
I wish we'd bump down.
So right now, the national average for a gallon of regular gas is $3.49. That's an increase of 10 cents from a week ago. Oregon is up 15 cents. $4.10 a gallon right now. Prices in Washington have increased 12 cents a gallon over the past week. Right now, prices in Washington sit at $4.33 a gallon on the average. So here's what we're asking this morning. In regards to spring break, do you plan to drive somewhere? So far, I mean, this is early in the voting, but so far, 25% say, yes, we are going to drive somewhere. 75% say, no, we are not. Those who vote no, by the way, will save money on gas.
Yeah, I guess that's the right call.
That's the update this morning, Rodney.
Okay, thank you very much
welcome.
for that.
Yeah.
What do I have today?
Okay, let me.
I think that's when you tell us.
What we got here? We got Portland, Rod.
Yeah,
Portland, then we got Billings.
All right, I'll take it from
there.
here. All right. Right here is our week disturbance. This comes in this afternoon. Futurecast doesn't really show us much of scattered shower activity from this weather system until we get into late afternoon. Ahead of it, what you don't really see showing up is a thick low cloud deck, a marine push that's come in that is absolutely producing pretty consistent drizzle in large areas of the Portland metro up to the Columbia River. So even though it's not showing up on the radar, we know it's fairly wet out there in spots. We're at 48 degrees. All indications are the cloud deck will not break today, so it's going to be a gray day, and the cloud deck will be pretty thick, pretty low throughout. Right now it is mainly clear. We jump east of the Cascades. Bend's at 46, and we have freezing temperatures out in Burns, and Baker City's close to it at 33. 46 up in Seattle this morning. Clouds 47 over in Astoria. Futurecast shows that just classic push of the low clouds, and they end right here. So that's the weather modeling showing the clouds being held by the Cascade elevation, if you will, and then it's sunny when you get east of the mountains later this morning. The green specks drizzle around the coast, but we're also getting that here in the valley. Notice here's the first wave of scattered showers coming in from that offshore weather system. And this is 4 or 5 o'clock this afternoon. And then it scattered stuff overnight into tomorrow morning. There's a little wave of rain perhaps coming in tomorrow evening. But as we talked yesterday, scattered showers around today and the drizzle this morning. Same thing tomorrow, but really very little total rainfall until we see rain amounts start to pick up during the day Friday. That still looks to be the case. How much rain do we get today? I mean, less than 5/100ths of an inch from Kelso down through Corvallis and Eugene. About 1/10 of an inch of rain at the coast. Those numbers look to be very reasonable to me. And then we add the rain amounts that will pick up Friday day through the day Saturday and then scattered showers on Sunday. And now you've got rain amounts over an inch of the coast and potentially 1/2 of an inch to about an inch of total rainfall coming up and down I-5. Snow levels will be above the passes the next couple of days and behind a Friday front. Friday night and a Saturday, snow levels for the Cascades come down to 3,000 feet, and that will bring some snow over the weekend for the kickoff of the Oregon spring break. All right, we have mid-50s today in Salem. The drizzle spots this morning, the showers scattered later this afternoon. 57 in Battleground today, Vancouver and Portland 59. Sun and scattered showers tomorrow will be a little bit warmer from Sunbury 62. Then the rain increases Friday. And then the lower snow levels on Saturday that I talked about, mid-50s, Sunday scattered showers, mid-50s. More weather systems keep the rain machine going on Monday and Tuesday, and that is your update.